Hello everyone, welcome back to the Farm Bureau Minute. We are just past the 1/3 point of the legislative session, and as you would expect, a lot of bills are starting to show their faces because we're only a couple weeks away from transmittal. The first couple bills I'll talk about have to do with private property rights. House Bill 286 was introduced last week, and that bill basically said that if there was a road that's legal description was in question, which could basically be a private road on private land, that the landowner whose land that road went across would not be able to close that road until he had petitioned the county commissioners and asked and proven that that road was indeed a private road. We opposed that rule. And we opposed that bill, and we also opposed House Bill 352. That bill makes it a misdemeanor subject to a $500 fine for a private landowner to allow an outfitter to drive or travel across their private property in order to access an isolated state section with the purposes of outfitting on that isolated state section. We oppose that bill, of course, because one of the most basic private property rights is being able to decide who you do or do not allow on your private property. Also, by eliminating the ability for outfitters to lease state sections, the state school trust loses money because they won't be able to issue those licenses. Interestingly enough, it also made it a misdemeanor and a $500 fine if some employee of the DNRC by chance did issue such a permit. A few other bills that were introduced this week, one major one, Senate Bill 261, is the Montana Sage Grouse Stewardship Act, and that puts into place a program that will help make sure that the sage grouse are not listed as an endangered species here in Montana. It's a very important bill for agriculture, for the natural resource industry. The bill had a lot of support, many proponents in the hearing. It will still need some help from the country because it does have a $10 million appropriation in it, as well as a request for 5 full-time employees to help administer the program. So if you could get in touch with your legislators and let them know how important it is to make sure that this bird does not become an endangered species, it would be very much appreciated. Also, House Bill 399 was introduced. It's a bill that does away with the 12-day rule for milk. Our members support keeping the 12-day rule because it keeps the shelf life of milk in the refrigerator of the consumer, rather than having a sell-by date, which this bill would allow, much of that shelf life to be spent in the store. We opposed that bill, and there was a big bunch of people who came in on both sides, so we'll be looking forward to seeing how the committee works that out. Also, Senate Bill 284 will be introduced this afternoon. That's from Senator John Brendan. It's a bill that allows county commissioners to have some say in whether or not wild bison can be transplanted into their county. We will most definitely be supporting this bill. As you know, a very similar bill was introduced last session, made it all the way through the process, and then was vetoed. So we're looking for ways to make sure that this bill can be passed, hopefully signed into law, and in a form that will provide excellent protection for private property owners, farmers, ranchers, in counties where wild bison are not desired. So keep in mind that the CSKT Water Compact bill will be introduced on Monday morning next week. So stay tuned. We'll have a major update for you then, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a good one. Bye.